right, folks. So we have a treat for y'all today. Going down old memory lane. You know what I mean? We might dip into somebody that you might not know the name of, but you know the presence, of course. You've heard me say that before many a times. Maybe you heard of a movie called Midnight Madness. Maybe, maybe you around Christmas time, maybe you watch some movies on the telly and you got like Jack Frost, claymation Jack Frost going. Maybe you remember the American Bandstand, seeing some Clinger sisters on there, some Smothers Brothers. We like to get into some Smothers Brothers stuff on here, legendary status. We got a little Love Boat talking for y'all over here. We got American Girls up in here. We got all types of stuff. There's so much stuff that she's done. The Krofft Variety Show, doing it big, Krofft family style. The great Debra Clinger is with us tonight, and this is going to be a good time. A lot of fun. This was a fun interview. I must say we had a lot of fun with it. You know what I'm saying? We like to have fun here at the BoomBastiCAST. And yeah, dude, this was a really good time. You know what I mean? We just sat down for a good chunk of time with her, and I just peeled back the curtain of how we edit things. So you guys, you don't even have to go to Patreon for that hookup. But yeah, dude, this was really fun. You want to say anything before we pop in?
Just that it was great talking to her, and without giving much away, the probably the best part is finding out about how things worked back then. I mean, the fact is, the world keeps on turning, technology keeps on coming up. There's new things, and you know the Hollywood of yesteryear is no longer here. Back when you had Walter Matthau, when you had Danny Kaye,
Hey,
great classic actors and all that. That might not be a household name to you guys now, but was way back when. And it's good listening about these great artists that have tossed off this mortal coil, that are no longer on this plane of existence, but had a big influence when they were here. And also talk about her and her sisters, and how things have changed drastically from then till now, the late 70s, early 80s, to now things that she's been involved with, which now you wouldn't bat an eye, but during that time it was pushing the envelope. A lot of people were like, I don't know if I can get behind this. But now it's all, it's like, why not? It makes no sense why anyone would put their foot in the way. But
was that
yeah, I
trouble?
can't wait for you guys to listen to this interview, and enjoy these stories, and the struggles and tribulations.
When you hear Danny Kaye, what's the first thing you think of?
Court jester.
Put the grandchildren to bed, because the first thing I think of is Chevy Chase's Christmas. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Listen,
brother. He
oh,
goes, Chevy Chase goes, we're gonna have the happiest Christmas since Bing Crosby danced with Danny fucking Kaye. And
yeah.
that was the first time it ever popped on my radar. Um, I apologize even using nasty language like that around a nice lady like that, even though she's not on the screen yet. But she was a sweetheart of a person. And we're going to let you all see how sweet she is. So, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time, welcome into the BoomBastiCAST podcast. Our cast? Yeah, that's our cast. The great, the wonderful, the lovely, the incredible, multi talented, super sweet Debra Clinger. Welcome to the BoomBastiCAST. Debra, welcome to the BoomBastiCAST.
Thank you for having me. This is so fun.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show. This is going to be a lot of fun. We've been looking forward to this since we got that green light that it could happen. Shout out to Sammy, hooked it up, good man. And
Yes,
yeah,
he's a good guy. He put the whole thing together for Midnight Madness to be shown in California, and that was really cool. people came from all over the country. It was amazing.
Yeah, we got linked into him because we're trying to do some like panels, like host some. We've hosted some panels down here. We did like a Phantasm panel. We did Terrifier, some horror stuff. But like we've interviewed a whole bunch of really cool people like yourself that are always out there pushing their movies and stuff. So like we got introduced to him, and we're trying to work on doing a couple screenings ourselves, like with Sammy. Sammy's a good dude.
That's great.
He came down to Boston, what was it, a week ago or 2 weeks ago, I
Yeah.
think it was, and we went to go
And
see Rare Window with him at our little art house cinema. You know what I mean?
Okay. Okay, great. And you would do it out in California at that little art cinema there?
Yeah, Frida, I think it's
Frida.
called. Yeah. Yeah,
In
that'd be the plan.
Santa Ana, I think it is.
Has a beautiful name. Beautiful name. I love the name. Yeah.
Frida.
You're free to go to the Frida.
Frida.
Beautiful
Yes.
thing. So Deborah, I guess we'll start from the beginning of I could say, where did you first catch the bug? But I believe was it through singing with your sisters? Was that the original step into entertainment? How that kind
Yes. Yes, I started singing with them when I was around 4, and we just progressed through the years and did a lot of performing in Utah. And then our parents decided to move us to California. We got on different TV shows, and it just kind of grew from there. And, my sisters and I, we were quite popular in the 60s, and we changed our genre of music from 4-part harmony into rock and roll. In 1966, we started playing rock and roll instruments, and then we got noticed and were put on the Smothers Brothers show. They noticed us and wanted us on the show, and we became, I think the most acclaimed all-girl rock band in the 60s, because we had records and TV and performance, across the country. So we were pretty before our time. We were kind of the girls that got out there. We were before Fanny. We were before all of those girl groups, the Runaways, everything. So that's where we kind of got our acclaim in show business. Was our rock stuff.
you hear so much about like the opposite of equality back then with like men and women. Was it like super tough to kind of break in?
Oh yeah, it was very tough because they didn't really think that we could play our own instruments. And Bill Drake, I don't know if you know who Bill Drake is or was. He owned all the radio stations, all the playlists, and he thought we were a hype, so he wouldn't play our records. Yeah, it was really hard being women. And then it became easier as Janis Joplin and all these people came to be, but we were the first. And so it was very hard to be the trailblazers for women in rock music.
Yeah, man, gatekeepers are the worst. And when like one entity owns everything, it's like horrifying.
Yeah, it's really hard. And we even our agent tried to get him to come out and see us perform so that he could see that we played our own instruments, and he wouldn't come. So what are you going to do? You're just fighting a battle all the way. You're fighting against this, big mogul of the radio stations.
Did he move on from his perch, or did he like pass away, or how'd that kind of?
I don't know what happened to Bill Drake. I think he moved on, and he also passed away. So he's gone. And, you know, radio has become so much different than it was then. You know, it was very interesting back then. There was a lot of payola and stuff like that back then. You know?
The music has changed so much in even just in recent years. I mean, you look at it now and it's like, forever it was like you would have to get the blessing from somebody that owns the station, or you would have to fall in good with the record owners. You know, the record nowadays, people nowadays they can do it on their cell phone, put it on YouTube and blow up, you know.
And yeah, I mean, look at a lot of these artists are never have had a major record label, but they're famous and they're out there performing and doing their thing. I think if we would have been nowadays, it would have been a lot easier with the internet and with, you know, all the multimedia stuff that's out there. It would have been easier for us, but then we wouldn't have been the first, right?
The first, that's right. There's a lot of pride. There's a lot of pride to take with the first, and there's almost more of, I hate to say, a skill and a talent back then when you did it than now. Or now there's auto tune and all these weird things
I know.
Clean up your lyrics and stuff.
There's a lot out there now. It's great, but it's different. It was more raw back then, and you really had to rely on your talents and your whole everything. You had to rely on yourselves for everything, because there wasn't that. You couldn't. I mean, we were on tape when we went in the studio, so they could splice a tape and, you know, connect it and put it in, but you had to do it in the take that you were doing it. You had to do it right then, you know, and once in a while they would punch in and splice or whatever, but, you know, it was pretty raw.
We with the film stuff, we're always talking about how, like, you know, you go to a grocery store nowadays, you walk down an aisle of 20 people, 15 of them are making movies, you know what I mean? And it's like, I often ask Alex over here, my dude, I go, do you think they would still, like, if it was more back in the day where you had to go develop the film, hand cut the film, like, it'd be back to, like, very few people doing it again. It's kind of I often wonder if the technology is a good thing. You know, I mean, it's definitely good for certain things, but
I think it's great. I think it's wonderful that people that you would never have that opportunity now have an opportunity that's right in their living room. They can do it right then, and they can put themselves out there. There's incredible artists that would have never been seen had it not been for the internet. So I think it's great. I think it's a great thing. You know, it was tough back in my day, but it's made it so that the little guy in Zimbabwe can put himself on playing the sitar, and he's just phenomenal, and everybody, you know, looks at that and gets him so many what do you call that thing where they see it? Hits. So many
like the hits
likes, so many likes
and hits,
and he can become famous. You know, it's great.
Like I don't take you for a rap fan, but I know, like, in the world of rap, you know what I mean? It's like you get all these, like, weirdo rappers that are, like, awful, but, like, they blow up on, like, SoundCloud or something because people like it.
Exactly. And my daughter, she's an artist, a singer, writer, performer, and she can put something out on, you know, Spotify or all of these things, and she can be heard, and she doesn't have to wait for a agent to get her a meeting with a record label to get a record label behind her. She can just do it. And it's a much more, I don't want to say, it's just a much nicer thing to be able to do as an artist. You can kind of make your own way.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't depend on anyone else. You can do it if you want to.
Which
So,
is good. I appreciate that, at like getting almost like the record label businessmen out of the mix, you know what I mean? Because very
yes.
manipulative, and just like, you know, back in the day, they'd be like, oh, you want to eat this week, you know, do this, do that, the other thing. Like Sam
Mhm.
Cooke, like even Sam Cooke, like Sam Cooke has like a mysterious death. And I think that like the record labels played a part in that kind of deal, because he was opening up his own label, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you just never know. You never know what those people can do.
Even MJ, even Michael Jackson, the king of pop, I gotta say that I don't know what happened. Everybody knows the rumors, but I know that he was buying up a lot of people's catalogs or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't
So
think they
you
like,
never know.
yeah, they don't like when you go against them business wise like that. That's a problem. But back to us, back to us. For MJ, you know, rest in peace, of course. But so you were on some of the biggest American Bandstand here, you know what I mean? The
American
Smothers Brothers,
Bandstand, the
yeah,
Smothers Brothers, Danny Kaye.
Danny
I don't know
Kaye.
if anybody remembers Danny Kaye, but he was
I remember.
pretty big time. Danny Kaye, Andy Williams. We
Yes,
toured with Bob Hope. We did telethons with Sammy Davis. We worked a lot, and we were with a lot of big stars, Anthony Newley, you name it. I worked with Tom Jones,
hell
and that was a wonderful thing to be able to do. But it was it was it was what we did. That's how we grew up. And
yeah,
so when my sisters and I broke up, I just kept going on, and I eventually got a show called Captain Cool and the Kongs on Sid and Marty Krofft's um, Saturday morning show. Saturday, what was it called?
cool.
The Krofft
Yeah,
Super Show.
Cap,
The Krofft Super Show.
yeah, yeah. The Krofft Super Show, which was made up of the people from Captain Cool and the Kongs, I believe.
Right.
It was
We
a
were the
musical
get.
act then.
We were the host of
Okay.
this hour-long show that was a lot of little um, shows that were filmed, and then we were taped, and we were the hosts of the show. We would sing and we would do comedy. So it was kind of fun. It was really a fun time in my career to do that. And but I got that show because I knew the Osmonds, and the Osmonds suggested that I audition for it. So I auditioned, and they did, I think it was Merrill and Wayne did the music the first 2 years that we did that show. I think they did it the first 2 years. I know they did it the first year, but so they were, you know, kind of my advocates, and but I had to audition,
Yeah.
and I got the show. So
Congrats.
it was fun.
What's when you're, you know, I think about how like everybody is attempting now, like what's the competition? Like, are we talking about hundreds of people you're going up against back then, or are there what type of, when you're auditioning for
Well,
something like that?
I'm sure there were probably, maybe 50 girls, or
Yeah.
you know, something like that. I really don't know, because I went in and auditioned, and I got the show. So I don't know how many other girls were auditioning, because
Yeah.
there was no one there that day that I went in the studio and sang for them. I only sang for them. I didn't do any comedy for them.
Okay.
I just sang yesterday, and that's what I auditioned with. And I sang it a cappella. So I just went
Killed
in
it.
and did it.
Killed it, yeah. Whenever I
So,
think of the audition process, I think of like the movies where you see like, you know, a bunch of people in the waiting room. You know
oh
what I
yeah,
mean? You pop
oh
in
yeah.
and
Well,
Yeah.
that's the way it is most of the time. There's a bunch of people in the waiting room and you each go in for your little audition. That's the way it was when I did American Girls. That's the way it was when I auditioned for the Rock Flowers. That's the way it was when I auditioned for Midnight Madness. That's the way it was when I've auditioned for all the commercials that I've done. You go in with a horde of people.
Yeah.
You know, it's not an open call. Do you know what an open call is?
Yeah, where anybody can just go.
Yes, it's where your agent gets you the audition. Okay, so it's not an open call. It's an actual audition through your agent. So they get you the audition.
Yeah.
So, and it's just, it kind of morphed into more than what I thought it was going to be in my life. I was just a singer. Excuse me. I never thought that I would be an actress.
Right.
But one of the guys in Captain Cool and the Kong said, "Hey, why don't you try acting?" And I was like, "No, I can't do that." And he goes, "Well, if I get you an audition with my agent, would you want to meet with him?" So I said, "Sure." And it just went from there. So, but I had done a Barnaby Jones before I ever had an agent. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, how'd that come about?
I don't know if my commercial agent got me the audition, but I went in and read for it and I got that show. And I don't know, I can't remember. My mind is too far gone.
Yeah.
It was too long ago. Excuse me.
Did you catch that bug? Do you remember like catching that bug and be like, "Oh, I like acting just as much as I like the singing stuff"?
Not yet. No,
No?
I didn't get that bug yet.
Yeah.
No. But I liked doing commercials.
For
Because
sure.
that was a one-day thing and you could do very well financially if you got the right commercial. So
for sure.
I liked doing commercials because it was, I could do that and you know, pay my bills and not have to worry so much.
Yeah, to this day, a commercial is probably one of the biggest paychecks I ever got. I did a
Really?
Yeah, they had a it was like this, like, I don't know, I don't remember what it was for. It was way back when I first like started getting into film, and all I remember is it was a guy in front of a like a garage, and he was trying to trick these kids, and he's like acting like he knows magic, and he does this like woo thing, and then right when he did that, the garage door pulls up, and I'm there in a bathrobe holding a trash bag. I made like $300 for like 1 hour. I was like, okay, I like this. You know what I mean?
Great. Yeah. And if you have a commercial that you get residuals that becomes a national commercial, it can be ongoing, and it's really nice when you're single and paying your own way in life.
Yeah.
And then you get married.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
I got married and I started having children, and my agent in the early 80s, it wasn't cool to have children and be an actress. That's only become really popular in the 2000s,
Yeah.
And so after I had my second child, he dumped me. It was like, okay, so I can't act anymore because I have children, So I started doing voiceovers, and do you remember the show Knight Rider?
Of course.
Yeah. A friend of mine was the producer of that show, and so he had me do that show. So it was nice. I could use my acting skills and my SAG card to make a good amount of money, and I could have my kids and I could do voiceovers. So I
It's
did a
such
lot of singing voiceovers too.
Oh yeah, yeah, we'll get into that. We'll get into that. Yeah. It's such a crazy dynamic because what you're saying there, it rings true completely. It was on, like, I remember when I first started, somebody told me this saying that was like the worst thing for an artist is a family, and the worst thing for a family is an artist. And it like
Right.
stuck with me forever. You know what I mean?
Well,
Uh,
it's tough. I have 5
yeah.
kids,
Mhm.
and they're my family's the love of my life. I mean, I would
Absolutely.
not give up my family for any kind
Yeah.
of fame or fortune or anything. They are what I live for.
Absolutely. Yeah. You feel bad for people that, I mean, it was an unfortunate thing how he dropped you, but like you are better off having the family, and
Yeah,
you
yeah,
kind of really, you feel bad for those people that were in that position where they were like, I gotta choose one or the other, because now they're like, they don't have anybody, you know what I mean? And it's like awful for
right.
them. Sure.
Yeah. So he dropped me, and I was like, okay, well, if you feel that way, then I don't want to be with you either.
Are agents some of the most fakest people around, where like when they're cool with you, you're the best thing in their life and their best friend, and then when they're done with you, they're just nice
Oh,
knowing.
well, yeah, I never saw him again. But the thing is
Yeah.
when you're working,
Yeah.
when you're making them money, they are right there for you.
Yeah.
But when you get a little lull in your career, then it's kind of like your chopped liver, you're gone,
Yeah.
so.
Which is crazy because it's their job to find you work, you know what I mean?
Well, it's their job to get you the interviews, but
Yeah.
you have to get the work
Good
by
point.
your
Yeah.
ability to do that, that part. But it is their job to get you the interview, or
Yeah.
to know about what is going on in the business, to read those things that come across their desk, like what's being auditioned for, if it's your type of person, because I was a young ingenue, so that was my time in life that I acted, was when I was, in my 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
We
guess
we talked.
what I find interesting and kind of annoying about the whole agent aspect is the fact that if you think about that, out of everyone in the world of acting and making films, they really do the least amount of work for the biggest amount of pay, because it's kind of like you're the one going out, you're putting yourself out there, you're doing the work, you're memorizing lines, you're doing, and all honestly they do is just set up the meeting, which is
Set up the
important.
meeting, and they help you with the contract. If they're a good agent, they make the agreement, the contract, you know what I mean? But when you're doing just a regular, like an episodic show, I didn't mean to cut you off. Did I cut
Oh,
you off?
that's
Oh, no,
it's
no.
okay.
I'm sorry. When you're doing an episodic, which is like a Hardy Boys or something like that, basically you just work for what is given to you at that time. It's not a real contract thing.
Hmm.
But if you get a contract with, I was under contract to ABC at one point, so he did the contract. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He helped negotiate that deal. And I got pregnant during that contract, so I had to fulfill that contract after my child was born. So, and I was willing to do that. I didn't know I was going to get pregnant during that contract, but it happened.
Yeah.
I did a show for ABC called Women in Prison.
Yes.
Does anyone remember that?
Oh yeah. Alex was talking about that
Well,
beforehand. He's a fan.
actually, it's interesting. I haven't seen it, but doing research as we do before the show, I stumbled across it and I was reading the synopsis of it and looking at the actresses that were
There
in.
were some big ones.
Oh yeah, I mean, we interviewed Richard Elfman, who directed Forbidden Zone,
Mm,
and so he played TJ
yeah.
in that movie.
Right.
Anyway,
I'm trying to think what her name was. Dang.
but I mean, the thing is, I was reading it, and what came to mind was, and I was wondering what you think about it. Is it's kind of like a precursor to Orange Is the New Black.
Oh yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny because I was reading the synopsis of that, and I was like, "This is, I'm." If I read correctly, it was for a pilot for a show that didn't go farther than the
Then the
pilot.
pilot.
And of course, it's a shame because I mean, you're included with everyone else.
I
I mean,
think Carol Lindley was in it.
yeah,
I was in it. Oh, that pretty girl that was my friend in it. I'm trying to think of her name, but I can't. Anyway, go on.
yeah, and I mean, I was looking at it, and I'm like, if that was done like nowadays, I mean, it would have been, in complete, fighting with Orange Is the New Black, and of course that became a huge
Huge.
phenomenon among itself.
Yeah.
And again, I would say it was before its time. Unfortunately, there's a lot of projects that people try to put out, and because of the timing and the mentality of society at the time, they're either not ready for it or not willing to give it a chance.
mm,
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, and the thing is, I mean, I was looking at it, and I was like, man, I would have. I mean, would you know if it's like on YouTube or any way that I could find it? Because I was
You
trying to.
know, I have no idea. I really don't know. I've looked before and I can only find pictures, like snapshots of the
mm,
cast and the show, but I cannot find it out there. And it makes me feel bad because, I mean, it doesn't make me feel bad. It's kind of interesting that American Girls isn't out there.
yeah.
Why not? We filmed 10 shows, and so often you see on the channels there's only like 3 shows to this series or 4 shows to that thing or whatever, and we filmed 10. So why can't they be out there somewhere?
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
have no idea. Sid and Marty Krofft just put out the Super Show again.
Okay.
So I'm like, whoa, after how many years you're putting this out?
Yeah. You'd think with all the streaming sites that it would pop up somewhere,
Yes, it's on a streaming site. It's on, I think, oh, I can't remember.
A
Tubi?
Tubi? Tubi.
Tubi?
Tubi's huge right now. Yeah.
Tubi? I think it is on Tubi. Anyway, I tried to watch it and it was so hard to watch because it's not up to the standards of like
HD.
seeing it,
Yeah.
what is it called?
Like the HD.
Yes,
Yeah. The high
it's,
definition. Yeah.
yeah. So it's harder to watch. But going back to women in prison, I think the mistake that they made was we taped that show. So it's a harder format
Mm,
than film is a softer format on your eyes. And so here we are, these women in prison, okay, which is a hard concept anyway. And it was 1980, okay. So it was kind of a harsh concept in the 80s. Now,
yeah.
like say the Girls in Orange isn't, but I think that if they would have filmed it, it made it maybe would have been softer on the eye to be likable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just didn't seem likable.
Yeah.
But that's just my take on it.
Well, not to be heartbreaking, but I once heard that a lot of the stuff that got shot on tape, to save money, they recorded over the tape. Yeah.
Yes, they did. A lot of the shows they recorded over,
Yeah.
which is so
Horrifying.
sad. It's
It
horrifying.
is.
we did a show with my sisters. We did, I think it was it 9th Street West or Hollywood A Go-Go or something like that, and it was with Pink Floyd.
Ooh.
Here we are, little rock and roll girls, and we're performing on a show with Pink Floyd. Well, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone, but it's on the internet. As far as Michael Blodgett was the guy who hosted, and we were on that show with Pink Floyd. It says the Clingers and Pink Floyd, but you can't find it anywhere.
You can't find the video. That sucks.
Yeah, and I think it was 1967.
I mean, syndication was a thing at that point, right?
Yes, a lot of syndication, but and that was done at, I think, a syndicated station. I can't remember what it was called, but my sister would know, but I can't remember.
It's like you spend so much money to make it, you know what I mean? And then they never seen streaming coming, you know what I mean? They never had any idea that would be a thing, or they would have kept everything.
Yes, I know, it's so sad. And yet you'll see old shows from, gosh, way, way, way back, like the Danny Kaye show or all of those. They didn't tape over those, thank goodness.
I wonder if it's a situation where like Danny Kaye in his contract or whatever
Owned it.
Yeah, like he owned them or something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And Danny Kaye was huge back then, so
sure.
But it was so neat as a little girl being on that show. I think I was around 10 or 11 and 12 and 13, but I started when I was on that show at 10 or 11. Yeah. Anyway, and across the hall of the big CBS studios was Judy Garland taping her show. Next door on the next set over was Red Skelton, Danny Kaye, and Carol Burnett. So, I mean, we were there with all these huge stars. Liza Minnelli would come across and take us girls to the commissary, and we'd get a fried hot dog sandwich.
Very cool.
And her father would come with her.
That's super cool.
I don't know if she would remember, but I remember. I remember Liza.
Hell yeah. I'm reading a book called Raised Eyebrows right now, and he's got a story in there from when he was a kid with Red Skelton. He said Red Skelton was one of the coolest people he ever met. Very nice to the kids and all that. Good guy.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah.
Was American Girls an ABC? Was that during the ABC contract?
No. American Girls, I think, was CBS.
Okay.
I'm thinking. I don't know. I can't remember. But American Girls was not when I was under contract to ABC. Okay. That was pre that contract. So I was not married when I did American Girls.
Okay, and those contracts are a lot like record label contracts. You're like, you can't do anything outside of that station, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Now, and if they don't have something for you, do they still pay you though, right? Isn't it one of those things where you still get a check, which is cool?
Yeah,
definitely cool.
Which is cool. Now, when that ABC contract was, I did that, the Women in Prison for that. And then I was up for a role on Flamingo Road. Do you remember that? Was it called Flamingo Road or I can't remember.
I know Pink Flamingos with John Waters.
No. No, it wasn't that. Anyway, and I turned it down. I turned that part down because I was like, no, I can't do this part. My mom won't be able to watch me in this show. Yeah. I said, no, I'm not doing that. So you had the right to take or turn down things, It wasn't like you had to do everything they said.
Oh, I always assumed once you signed on that line, it was like, you're doing whatever we tell you to do.
No,
That's good. That's relieving.
no, I would not do that show. I was like, no, sorry, I'm not doing that. But anyway,
That's cool. I know you brought up some voiceover and singing, you know what I mean? So we got to bring up two films that we're big fans of, you know, The Stingiest Man in Town, first of all, nice Scrooge retelling, you know what I mean? How did that come about?
through my agent.
Through the
I went
agent?
in and well, actually, I didn't audition.
Yeah.
They just hired me because they knew I was a singer and I voiceovers. So I went in and we were all around a big microphone, like, well, actually a big circle with each of us with our microphone, and we just read our parts. And then I had to sing a song in that. So I sang it. And I mean, I learned it first and then I sang it. And it was really fun. That was with Walter Matthau.
Walter Matthau, yeah.
Yeah. And his little boy got to play the boy that was
Tiny
in
Tim?
the streets. Not Tiny Tim.
No.
He didn't play Tiny Tim. He played like a secondary part of, I think, the little boy that was in the street that said,
He says that Ebenezer Scrooge asks him what day it is, and then he says it's Christmas Day.
it's Christmas
Yeah.
Day. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that his son got to play that part, which was really fun to see, you know, his dad bring him in to do that. So it was great. But we all just stood around reading our parts. And then I worked for Rankin and Bass again, and I did Jack Frost, which was a really sweet little show. And I had a much bigger part on that show. So it was great. And when I got married, Rankin and Bass sent me the knight in golden armor. And they said, you have finally found your knight in golden armor. So they sent me the character and they sent me my little claymation character. And so I have them. They're up in my cupboard up there. And I have them to this day.
That's very cool.
They're very endearing to me.
You can't beat claymation. That's one like art form that kind of went away a little bit, but I love like Tim Burton was keeping it alive for a little bit, but I love claymation. It's so good.
Claymation, yeah. So I have my character and the knight in golden armor.
Hell yeah. Well, Walter Matthau, we got to pop back into Walter Matthau. We're both huge gigantor fans of Walter Matthau. What was it? I know you had that great story about him and his kid, but was it you know, as cool as we feel like it would have been? You know, can we get an inside scoop of what working with Walter Matthau is like?
Well, he was just very business. We all came in, we did our parts. It was no kidding around, joking, whatever. He did his part. We each read. It was like a play.
Yeah.
It wasn't we each one did it separately. We all did it around a circle. I mean, it was very interesting to me because I had never done anything like that before. So I thought I was going to be in the studio by myself, but I wasn't. I was with all of them. Who was the guy who did the bug?
Humbug he was in Happy Days, the father from Happy Days.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was a very nice person to work with.
Yeah.
Everybody was so nice. They were great.
If I had the father from Happy Days on the show, I would ask him that Weezer video for Buddy Holly. What's going on with that video? Because it's like it's like they're on the set. I don't know if it's clips from the show or like if they had them. I don't know what the deal is. Jack Frost in itself, a Christmas. They're both great Christmas films, but Jack Frost, classic. You know what I mean? That was one of those.
Comes out every year.
Every year.
Every year I get a little residual. It's amazing. It's like 10 cents. No. It's a very little residual because as the older it gets, it's like 50 cents. No, just kidding.
Exactly.
It's so funny. I got a bunch of residuals the other day for Knight Rider, and they were all from Europe. Okay. So I didn't realize that they don't pay you your residual until it gets over a certain amount if it's global European use. So I had this page and page and page of all these little teeny residuals, 5 cents, 10
Yeah.
cents, 35 cents, 50 cents. But when it got to be up to over $10, I got a check for $11.18.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, this is hilarious. We should be giving this to poor people in another country. I don't need this little $11.18 residual. But anyway, I think they should do something like that. If the residual is less than $1, let's just give it to charity.
Yeah.
You know?
It could go a long way.
Yeah.
The yeah, Jack Frost classic, Eliza, right?
Elise,
Lisa.
Elisa.
Elisa.
Elisa? No.
Well, it's
Here I am.
something like that.
Let me see.
It's Elisa, I believe. I just don't know how to pronounce it appropriately.
Elisa. Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that the girl from Frozen? Isn't that the main character's name from Frozen?
Oh, that's Elsa.
Elsa. Oh, okay. I was gonna say they gotta give you credit for kudos, big kudos.
Wouldn't that be nice if I was Elsa? No.
Little homage. They're paying you some respect.
Oh my
you know what I
gosh.
mean?
That girl
That'd be
is
very
phenomenal
cool.
with her voice. Woo.
Yeah, one of the biggest. You talk about like you know that what's that? How's that song go? That's huge.
Let It Go.
Yeah, that song is huge.
Huge.
My goodness.
Huge. Every little kid in the world knows that song.
Yeah.
And I think every parent has been driven insane by that song.
Exactly. It's true.
Probably. But it's so interesting how out of everything I've done in my career, everybody knows Jack Frost.
Yeah.
It's so interesting because it's iconic. It comes out every single Christmas and the new generation watches it, you know, from you guys' age to, you know, down. And it keeps on going. It's like, you know, the ever ready bunny. It just keeps on giving every year.
Well, so those claymation Christmas movies, you got like what, that A Year Without a Santa Claus, Frosty, Rudolph. I mean, it doesn't get no better than that when it comes to every holiday season. I have to watch them. It's like not getting presents, not watching those films. You know,
watching those shows. Yeah.
Yeah, they're gifts.
Well, I mean, it's something about being like a part of. I mean, there's a lot of different, you know, films with genres and all that. But when you are part of, especially a Christmas movie or something like tied into the Christmas like zeitgeist, and it comes back every year. I mean, it's just, you know, it just keeps on, you know, just bringing you back, and it's like, you know, kids who watched when they first came out are showing their kids, and then when their kids
And
grow
so
up,
on. Yeah.
So
it's
I mean,
generational. It just keeps going. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things that will always, I think, in my opinion, will just keep on going and be kept, you know, in everyone's mind because it becomes a tradition. And when you have films that kind of fall into like family traditions, they will always last.
That's right. That's right. So, you know, I'm just grateful that I was part of one of those films, one of the iconic Christmas films, you know. So it's really a blessing that I got to do that.
Yeah.
And I did Scrooge also, but Scrooge isn't as shown as much as Jack Frost. I did get a little residual from The Stingiest Man in Town just recently. So I thought, oh, well, this Christmas it was shown somewhere.
Yeah.
In the world.
It's the all that streaming. Everything's got to be playing somewhere. You know what I mean?
Somewhere.
You
Yeah.
know. You were part of another cult classic film, Midnight Madness. You know what I mean? Good times, good times.
Madness. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do you remember anything about like how that, I know the agent set up the interview. You went in there, you nailed it, you got it. You got any good fond memories? I'm sure you do of, working on that. It seemed like a really fun film, Disney film, which is
Disney film. Yeah,
kind of
it was great.
interesting. Yeah.
It was really just an awesome time in my life. I was up for another film at the same time, and I chose this one. And I was talking to a friend of mine just the other day, Moosey Dryer. I don't know if you remember Moosey. He was on Kids Incorporated. He was the guy who ran the soda shop.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the kid in that. Anyway, and he was saying, Deborah, why didn't you take that movie? I was talking to the director, the producer at the time, because he was in the other movie. And I said, well, I just felt like Midnight Madness was more my type of music than Hollywood Nights. And Hollywood Nights was a little racier. And so I felt like my personality was more of a Midnight Madness type of personality, because it was fun, it was rompy, there was nothing devious or awful about it. It was just a fun college romp movie. So I loved it. I had a great time. It was really fun. The fact that we had two directors, which is very unusual. And we would do like some of our scenes with Michael Wechter and David Nankin, I think that's how you say his name. We would do different scenes. So we always had a different take on the whole thing, because we had a different director directing us. In each scene was different. So it made it even more fun when we saw it all together, because it brought different focus to each scene.
So they were both on set together, or was it one of those deals where one of them comes in later type deal?
Well, we would go off with one director, our group, the yellow group, and the other director would take the blue group off and shoot. And then the blue group director would direct us in another scene. So we were all getting different times with each director. So it was fun.
Did you ever find that confusing at any point, or was it always smooth?
No, because they were together on all their
ideas and
direction. They were together like this. They wrote it together, they directed it together, they produced it together. I mean, they were a team. And so it made us all be a team player for the whole movie. And we all did our scenes so separate. It was very interesting, because we were this movie of many people, and yet we didn't work together that often.
Yeah.
We would have our time that we worked with our group, and then once in a while we would work with the blue group or the red group or the green group or the white group. So it was great. It was a fun time. It was 1979 that we started that movie, and then it came out in 1980.
Very cool. Yeah. Yellow team. You guys, yellow group.
Yellow team. Yeah.
David Naughton, of course, from like American Werewolf in London. Very cool dude. We met him at a horror convention up this way. Very nice guy. Very young Michael J. Fox, I believe his first film.
It was his first film here in the States. I don't know what he did in Canada before, but it was his first film here. He was 18 at the time, and he was just a sweetheart. He was darling.
I always forget he's from Canada. Yeah.
Yeah, he's from Canada.
He's yeah, Michael J. Fox is like yeah, he's quite an entity, you know what I mean? I've
He's a,
always been a fan, yeah, ever since like
yes,
Family Ties, you know what I mean? And
yes, and Back to the Future, and
Back to the Future,
he's just darling. He is such a cute kid.
yeah.
Very,
Yeah.
very nice young man.
They also had Eddie Deason, of course, from like Grease
Eddie
was up in
Deason,
there.
uh, Paul Rubin,
Paul
uh,
Rubens, of
Paul
course.
Rubin was in it. All of these were, a lot of us were, that was our first movie.
Yeah.
Paul Rubens, Michael J. Fox, me, um, Patricia, Albrecht,
Albrat, yeah.
Maggie Roswell. So many of us were, it was our first movie.
Yeah.
So it was really a neat cast. And when we did the little reunion, I think there were 18 of us that showed up.
Really?
Which I think there were 18 of us. Like, I can't remember if there were 18 counting the directors. They came, both of them.
Very cool.
Of course, Michael didn't come, and David Naughton didn't come.
Yeah.
And Eddie Deason was on screen. He was kind of somewhere virtually.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
the hovering Eddie head.
yeah. So anyway, but it was great. It was really.
There was
Stephen
Stephen
Furst
Furst.
passed
He
away.
passed away at the time. Yeah, but he was great
and
in it too.
Patricia has passed away also.
She has, yeah. Rest in peace, both of them. That's very sad.
Yes,
They're really good in the film.
they are great. She plays that part. Harold, you know.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be on a diet, you know.
Yeah, it's such
so
a it's such a fun film, you know what I mean? It's kind of hard to get to these days, which is a shame. You can rent it, you can get rented still. But yeah, Disney had a kind of weird, it was a little too, I don't know. Disney's a weird company, you know what I mean?
Well, they put it on Buena Vista because
Yeah.
it was a little too racy, you know, back then for it to be a family movie, and it was
Yeah.
one of their first PG films.
Yeah.
So they put it on Buena Vista. And when Disney Plus came out, I thought for sure that they
Right.
would have it on there, and they don't.
Very weird.
Very weird. I mean, they have some bizarre shows on there, but they don't have that one.
Mr. Boogedy, they had put Mr. Boogedy on there, which was very cool. I was happy to see that. But Disney's had a weird track record, not even like the madness of what everybody hears about Disney, but just like they had a brother company that put out Natural Born Killers. You know what I mean? It's like, you gotta put out Natural Born Killers. You gotta hate on Midnight Madness. I mean, what's going on here?
Yeah, it was so funny. It was weird. And it only came out for just a short little blip of time.
Yeah.
And then it was gone. But when HBO started, it was one of the main shows, like the 10 movies that you could see over and over and over again. So that's kind of where it became a little cult film, because these kids, that's all they had to watch.
Yeah.
So they know it backwards and forwards. I mean, they could say the lines, you know. So
that's it. That's the thing with the cults, like the true diehard movie lovers they know they know every movie, know every line, you know what I mean? I'm sure like you met some at that screening, you know what I mean? Did you ever think these years later that there'd be people that love it as much as they do?
no, I did not. And what's interesting about that movie, I was at an event and I raised my hand and I said something, and afterwards this lady came up to me and she goes, "Were you the girl in Midnight Madness? Were you Laura in Midnight Madness?" And I was like, "Yes, but
Yeah.
how do you know that?" And she goes, "I recognized your voice. I know your voice anywhere. My brothers and I watched that movie over and over and over again when we were teenagers.
Yeah.
And I was like, you knew my voice? Wow. That
Yeah.
is so bizarre.
You're
Well,
welcome.
I thought it was really neat that I got to have so many scenes with Michael J. Fox because
Yeah.
I was his advocate in the movie. I was cheering for him, for his brother to pay attention to him, you know, and all this stuff. So I got to, you know, really get to know him well. And I feel bad that we didn't stay in contact with each other, but each of our lives went different directions. And that's what has happened with most of my co-stars and people that I have been worked with. Our lives have gone different directions. I moved to Tennessee 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So, you know, I moved to Tennessee before it was popular
Hell yeah.
to move to Tennessee. Now it's popular to move to Tennessee. Everybody's moving here.
Yeah.
Nashville.
That's true. Well, being in Nashville, you still musically, you still doing music at all, or I know it's a big
No,
music area.
it's a huge music area. And I did a little bit when I first came, but gosh, you know, it's just hard with you're having to start a whole new career basically because
Yeah,
it's a whole different group of people.
true.
And so, you know, it's more of a who you know, good old boy type of network. So I didn't want to do that again when I was coming here. I had teenage kids. I had a 4-year-old, a 4-year-old to 14. And so I didn't really have the desire to get out there and start working like that so hard again. And also there was no union here. It was a right to work state. And so you got paid like if you did, I got a commercial when I first got here. And I said, okay, well, how much am I going to make? Well, you're going to make $100 for the day. And at the end of the shoot, we're going to have a cake party. And I was like, what the heck is a cake party? I didn't know what a keg party was. I thought they were saying cake party because of their accent. We're going to have a cake party. And I was like, what the heck is that? Are we going to have a big cake or something? And it was a keg party where you get beer. So I was like, that is what I'm going to get paid? Well, I'm not going to even bother to spend the day away from my kids to do this commercial.
Yeah.
It wasn't worth it to me. So I did a few voiceovers. I did a few singing on records and, you know, demos and stuff like that. And I just thought, no, I'm going to just be a mom. And I taught for a long time, acting and voice and singing and performance and stuff like that. For about 8 years, I taught and did that in the kids in Brentwood. And then I decided, no, now it's time for me and my kids. I'm not going to do that anymore. So.
Oh yeah. And your daughter's doing music. She picked up the torch and ran with it.
Yes, she did. She did. And my husband, he's a phenomenal singer. He's a classical singer, and he sings with the symphony here in Nashville in the symphony choir. And he's a writer, a songwriter, and he's had his a deal with EMI Records. EMI Publishing. Yeah. And so, you know, we're all a little bit dabble, but it's not our main focus anymore. So
very talented family. I like that.
Thank you. Yeah. Our daughter Taylor, she goes by Soft Bodies. If anyone wants to look her up on Spotify or any of that stuff, she's an artist that goes by the name Soft Bodies, Taylor Jensen.
What type of genre of music would she fall into, you think?
You know, I don't know, because it's her own thing. She writes her own stuff, and she's never been like anyone. So I don't know. I haven't heard her 4 new ones, so I'll have to. I just found out about it today, so I'm going to go on Spotify and look at it. Or band gear or band play or something like that. I'm going to go on
Yeah.
and watch it.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna look into her if she ever wants to go on a we interview all entertainers if she ever wants to pop
Okay,
on the show. You know what I mean?
I'll have her call you, or you can email her, whatever.
I heard that there's a documentary going on right now about Midnight Madness. Am I right about that or no?
Well, yeah, this guy, Jeff Smith, I think his name is, he is trying to put a documentary together for Midnight Madness, which I think is so cool. You
Yeah.
know, he did a little interview with me, and he came to the viewing of the film. He hasn't put it out yet, has he?
No. It's in production as we
Oh,
speak.
okay.
Yeah. I know that you and your sisters got a doc that came out, the Klinger sisters, the first girls of rock and roll. That's out right now.
Right. That's out. And yeah, I mean, it's out there.
Hell yeah. You mentioned with the screening, conventions are a big thing right now. Is that something that you'd be interested in doing some signing some autographs a couple weekends of the
Sure.
year or something?
Sure. Yeah. If that ever happened, I would love to do it I don't know if the Krofft people have ever thought about doing a Krofft Comic-Con or whatever, but I would love to do it with them if they ever do. And because the Krofft SuperShow was huge back in the day in the 70s, and then I would be happy to do that. I don't know anything about it.
They should do a Krofft Con or something. Well, there's like billions of different conventions and stuff like that going on, through with older movies or even music, movies, you name it, it's in there, so it's good that we'll put that word out that
Okay.
if every town has an Elm Street, every town has like 7 conventions going on, you know what I mean? It's like a big
Wow. Do you guys go to them?
Oh yeah, we go to them up in our neck of woods. We got like it's a thing called Super Mega Fest that I don't even want to mention. They should give us all free passes for mentioning them. We got Super Mega Fest. We got like Rhode Island Comic Con, Boston Fan Fest. You know what I mean? There's a whole bunch of ones. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So I have a friend, well, Patricia, she used to go and do some of those because she was in Gem and what are they called?
Gem and the Holograms.
And the Holograms. I almost said the Holocaust, but Gem and the Hologram. And she would go and do those signing, and she always wanted me to go with her, but we never did. And then she passed, and so it kind of was,
bittersweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was my sweet, dear angel friend. She was the kindest, sweetest, most loving person you could ever know. And I met her on Midnight Madness, and we became friends forever. And we moved here in 95, and I think she and her husband and son moved here in 96.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it was great to have her here with me.
Yeah.
My only friend from show business here in this place, Tennessee.
You only need one. You only need one real friend.
But now she's gone, so I think about her often.
Well, as long as you're thinking about her, she's never really gone. That's what I like to think. You know what I mean?
She's a good one.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah. So anything else you want to talk to me about?
I mean, we're rounding that thing we had I had Love Boat on the list. If I know that it doesn't fit anywhere, but
it's okay. Love Boat was a blast because it was a 2-part show. It was a double show to be continued. And I was married to this guy in it, but my father was a designer. And my father had this guy as his flunky, and
Yeah.
I married him unbeknownst to my father. So it was really a fun show, but it was 5 weeks after I had had my first child. So it was really hard
Yeah.
doing that. I mean, you guys don't know because you haven't ever had a child,
I
but
can imagine.
for
It's
a
pretty
mother
sore. Yeah.
to be running around that boat and going crazy on that boat and filming from morning till night and have a little baby, it was kind of hard.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
tough, but it was fun. I loved doing that show, Love Boat. Had scenes with like all these super huge um designers,
Yeah.
because that's what the show was about, was this designer, you know convention or
Photography,
whatever
yeah.
was there on the boat. So it was great.
Deborah, this was fantastic. Thank you very much for coming on the
Thank
show.
you. Thank you so much. There's so much more that I've done that is vocally singing wise. I don't know if you knew that I was on Precious and Few, the song Precious and Few, and did a lot of vocals for a lot of people. So that's another day. I know.
Yeah, we'd love to have you back. Standing here, we're standing here right now. If you had to choose one or the other, what you love more, singing or acting? We got to go with singing?
I'm going to go with singing.
I think so, yeah.
Singing, definitely. And what I love more is my family above everything.
Oh, of course, of course.
Oh,
Mic
I
drop.
would give up all of that for them. And I did. I
Yeah.
did basically give it all up for my family. So, but hey, that's not to say that I can't do it again,
That's
because
right.
they're all grown and they have their families now. So
Yeah.
I'm a grandma
Yeah.
of nine grandkids.
American Grandma coming soon.
American grandma. Here I
I
come.
like that.
American grandma. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
Well, it's been fun, you guys.
it has been. Thank you very
Talk
much.
to you and meet you, and
You too.
it's great.
This was great stuff. We'd love to have you back on sometime to chat, dude. This was really good times.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you too. Talk soon.
Okay.
Bye-bye,
Bye-bye.
Alan, Mathew. Bye.
Bye-bye. And ladies and gentlemen, that was the great Debra Clinger. She was very cool, super awesome. It was a pleasure to have her on the show. Been a part of a lot of cool things. You called Alex by his street name, Al. That's his rap name, Al. He kills people under that name. But no, it's all good in the hood. Very cool, very cool, very cool. She's a sweetheart, and I really dig her a lot, man. You know what I mean? Thanks Sammy for hooking up this interview, and we talked about a lot of really cool stuff, and I got into some of like the heart of the deal. You know what I mean? She kind of stepped out to do the family thing, which is definitely honorable for sure. And it's definitely one of those things where it is more important at the end of the day. I mean, yeah, there's definitely an importance that comes with entertainment and entertaining people and taking them away from maybe hard times they might be going through or whatever, but you definitely got to keep one foot in reality of life, you know what I mean? And kind of don't let life escape you while you're trying to entertain these people, you know what I mean? That's like a lesson I've had to learn later in life, and it's one of those things. It's just like, who's really gonna be here to watch it? It's gotta be one of those things where, I need kids, I guess, because who else is gonna push my little independent films when I'm dust in the wind, you know what I
Oh,
mean?
come on. That's why you have me around, dude.
Yeah, it's an hourglass ticking. Our lives are like an hourglass ticking, Alex. You know what I mean? It's like, who's to say which one of us goes first? You know, we might be connected so deep that one of us dies, the other one dies like an old married couple. You know what I mean? For
Oh
all,
man, oh, man.
you never can tell with these things. But she was a lot of fun. I really liked her a lot. You know what I mean? What'd you think, Alex?
I mean, I had a lot of fun. I mean, it's great talking to her about, how she started up. I mean, in the trials and tribulations, and the fact, like we talked about, where her and her sisters had the rock band, and it was all girl rock band, which they
Klinger sisters. Yeah.
trials and tribulations trying to get through mainly male dominant world. And then of course like the women in prison movie, which nowadays you got the Orange is New Black, and you look at that one, that's pretty much the same kind of mold, but
Yeah.
they did a pilot and it didn't go anywhere. And it shows that she has been I would say in the forefront of a lot of things that are precursors to what we now kind of accept as normalcy. I
Yeah.
mean, you have a lot of strong women, musicians out there, strong centered women stories. And of course, unfortunately, in the late 70s, early 80s, it was not quite as common, and a lot of times just ignored, which of course what is a shame. But it was great talking to her about her experiences, the people she got to work with,
Yeah.
and the fact is that, like she said, that yeah, she left, she had a family, but she's still around, she can still as Matt said, American Grandmother. I'm waiting for that series
It's
right there.
coming. You know, people don't understand the hustle and bustle of making it in her time, so to speak.
Yeah.
Like when you're on the road like 365 days a year. It's like a wrestler's life, you know what I mean? You're performing every night. It's not like nowadays where it's like I'll fly in and I'll do a show, you know what I mean? Like even when you have success, like even when you like nowadays you have success, you're Taylor Swift, you're like, well, I guess I'll take an airplane and I'll perform like Friday and Saturday night, and then the rest of the week I'll just like play with my football player and worship the devil and all that stuff that Taylor Swift does. But back in the day, it was like 365 days a year, multiple shows a day sometimes, you know what I mean? Just doing it. It's like you've got the grind. I always have super respect for the grind of getting, touching success, touching some fame, you know what I mean? Getting yourself to a place where you're at, and you're going, your movies are going to theaters, your albums are going to stores at that time, your song's going on the radio. Yeah, even though radio, it was tougher to get on the radio because that dude was being wild and being, a bad dude, thinking that women can't, you know what I mean, be musicians. It's like it's kind of crazy when it's like, they're, well, she can't play an instrument because she's a woman. Meanwhile, there's like people gonked out of their head on heroin, like doing it,
Yeah,
what I mean? It's like, well, they're probably a lot more put together than some of those men, creatively and artistically than some of those men wandering around the world with, Sam Cooke, rest in peace, doing a big dude going against the man. The man done put his thumb out on fucking Sam Cooke. Very crazy, very crazy. But this was a lot of fun. You know what I mean? We hope to have her back on in the future. There's a lot more stuff to talk with her about. Like everybody knows on the BoomBastiCAST, you come on for the interview, first episode with you on the show. It's a nice interview. And then we like to have you back. We got Huey Bowl, dude. The great Larry Hankins rolling back around. I don't know if his episode will drop yet, his second episode dropped yet or not, but we like to we interview him first, and then we bring him back on for discussion. You know what I mean? And talk about the world and the madness in it or the beautifulness in it and all that good stuff. And I got a good feeling we'll be able to get her on. It'd be cool to have her her daughter on the show too. Soft Bodies, I believe, was the name of her band.
Yep.
I remember correctly. I'm definitely going to be peeping that on the Spotify. And we love to have artists of all types on the show. So definitely that'd be cool if we link up and have her on the show. It'll be a cool dealio, you know what I mean? For sure. Very talented family. I dig that. Talent kind of festers in a good way. You know what I mean? You got some talent, it grows, very artistic family, creative family. I'm glad that she kind of instilled that in her kids, you know what I mean? It's a beautiful thing. Artistic stuff is it's beautiful. We all often talk about it being therapeutic and just get you through life type stuff, so even if somebody's out there and they're not Steven Spielberg, they're not Quentin Tarantino, which I've been making films so long that I've seen that stretch. I remember when I first started, people would go, "What do you think, you're Steven Spielberg?" And then I graduated to, "What do you think, you're Quentin Tarantino?" You know what I mean? Pretty soon it'll be, "What do you think, you're James Gunn?" And I go, "James Gunn owes it all to me." Little film called Superman. Al knows about it. But catch that on the Boombastic Media streaming. You know what I mean? Catch that on the Boombastic Media streaming Patreon page as we speak. But enough about that. You know what I mean? This was a lot of fun, and we can't wait to have her back. And much love to her and her fam. They sound like really cool people. And if you got nothing else to say, brother, I'll probably take us out.
Nothing much to add, just that it was a great interview. Love talking to her, and can't wait to have her back and talk more about her singing career.
Very cool. Sammy, thanks again for the hookup. Shout out to you, brother. Hoping to do some screening business with you in the future. And maybe another screening of Midnight Madness we could host up in here. You never know. Could be cool things. But if y'all like this episode, go check out more wherever you heard, wherever you watched it. And if you want to get advances, get them earlier than anybody else, then you definitely want to hit that Boombastic Media streaming. It'll leave you screaming, dreaming, gleaming like sunshine, loving it. We love y'all. Thanks for listening. Catch y'all on the next episode of the BoomBastiCAST.
Mm.
Peace.